Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And on tonight's show, I'm pleased to have a sophomore catcher from Tolland, and I appreciate Coach Howie Deach to be able to allow me the opportunity to talk with one of his players. And as I mentioned, this catcher who has really done a lot of great things and is still many, many years away as far as being have an opportunity to be able to see what he can do as far as in college. But first, the high school level, he's doing his thing. Wyatt Zahner is with me, and I appreciate you coming on, Wyatt.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm honored to be on here.
You know why it's awesome to be able to talk with catchers because I'm a former pitcher myself. I played all the way through college, and the one thing that is, the most beautiful part about baseball is the two positions touching the baseball as much as anybody. Kind of like in football where it's the center and the quarterback. Well, you know, you're the center, the pitcher is the quarterback, or vice versa, depending on the scenario. But being able to be that much involved in a game, how awesome is that?
Oh, I love it. I always tell people if I wasn't a catcher, I probably wouldn't like baseball that much. I love being involved. It's the best position in my opinion, and it's just awesome always being involved. There's never a downtime, which I really love about it. And always being able to help your pitchers too. It's a great thing. I love it.
And especially too with helping pitchers, and I'm kind of going to go into as far as with you only being a sophomore and having played a number of games last year, being able to have that chemistry with the pitchers is huge. Do you feel like that they are more comfortable with you? I know the sample size is not very big from last year, but do you feel like the chemistry is a little bit stronger this year?
Yeah, 100%, definitely. A lot of the kids I'm catching this year too, I've caught all the way since Little League, and just having that connection between the two of you, knowing that I know what's coming, they know what's coming, they know it's going to be a good pitch, whatever, wherever it goes through. And a big thing Coach Deach and Coach Shaw, our pitching coach, stress on a lot is helping our pitchers out, telling them what they're doing wrong, calming them down a little bit, and just all around, just having a good connection with them and being being one person.
Now, when you entered this season, I don't know if it was projected that you were going to have the opportunity to be able to start and do your thing, right? I have no idea. You'll probably tell me that in a second. But if you were, or there was any inclination, how did you prepare your body for the rigors of a long season compared to last year where, you didn't play as many games? So the concern wasn't, okay, I need to focus more on my legs. I got to squat more, do whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Over the winter, I did a lot of lifting, a lot of lower body strength and mobility stuff. And hearing that our former catcher went to a private school last year, I had a kind of thought I was going to be the one behind the plate this year. So just stressing on the little stuff, getting my lower body as strong as possible and my upper body in that fact too. But coming off of football season, bulking up, trying to slim down a little bit, get a little more agile. Those were all big things for me that I tried to work on as much as possible.
And how difficult is that? And you're not the first catcher that is a football player. I remember back in the day, and I don't know if you're familiar with the NVL, but there was a player by the name of Jack Dibias who was a fantastic football player, was a beast. I think he was the quarterback. I could be wrong. So if I apologize if Woodland people are watching this. And then he was a great catcher behind the plate, stocky, strong. If you wanted to run into him, you were basically going to fall because he was like a wall, right? So when you were, to go from football to baseball workouts, right? You talked about kind of slimming down. It's much different. The movements are different. Obviously, the weightlifting, I don't know if that's different for you. Did you adjust how you trained your body from one season to the next?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I was trying to put on, I'm coming from D line and O line. I'm trying to put as much muscle and just mass on as possible. But then you go from doing that to going to catch, and you have to be agile, almost the most agile guy in the field, and just doing like small stuff like rotational stuff and not just straight strength. You need to be able to move. You need to be able to lateral movement, a bunch of stuff like that. So those were definitely things that I worked on more over the winter.
Is there any comparables to, like you mentioned, the O line and D line? You're with the Hogs, you're with the big guys up front, so you're kind of getting dirty doing your thing. Is there any comparable as far as from the offensive line position and being a catcher? Is there any comparison or any sort of movements that are the same or no?
Definitely, definitely. A lot of footwork, transfers, I'd say, for catching to, like, say, pass blocking or run blocking. Just footwork, I think, is a very key thing, and especially O line. And then going into catching, I mean, your footwork has to be perfect. You got a fast runner on first, stealing. Footwork has to be perfect, be able to get them out, and footwork has to be perfect, protect your quarterback. So there's a lot of similarities in that sense, but then your strength is can be a different aspect of it.
As you were preparing yourself from the baseball side, right? I don't know how much you were able to do because living in the Northeast, it's hard to get outside. Although this year was a little different. The winter was kind of not really a winter. It was like a late spring. Some days it felt like summer. It was 50, 60 degrees. Very strange. Were you able to get outside at all to try to work on some of the blocking, receiving stuff that is very unique, and not every catcher has the ability to be able to have those kind of movements and skills early on in their baseball career.
Yeah, definitely. I tried to go outside as much as possible. Every once in a while there's a nice day here and there. So tried to get outside much as possible and just take advantage of the nice days and try to get better every time I could. And then the days that it was not very nice, I'll go to the gym and do stuff like that and just work. And indoor facilities, I think, were definitely a big key, and not just catching but hitting too, and just getting as many reps as possible. And because better you be, the better you can be, way better if you start way earlier, and it just you get a head start of everybody.
Now, talk to me about you being at the plate, right? Obviously, catching, I've talked a lot with Howie, and he's told me a lot of great things about you. At the plate, I got to know lefty, righty, switch. Where are you batting?
I'm a righty.
Righty? Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're batting from that right side, what is your, to not give away too much for any pitchers that may be watching this from whatever conference they're in? Um, what is your approach? Are you a dead pull guy? Are you trying to spray it? Are you trying to go towards the gaps? What is your comfortable spot as far as hitting the ball?
I'm looking to spread the field as much as possible. Coach Deach stresses on a lot that we have a wind tunnel down at Tolland. So you put a ball in right field, it's going to go. So, with BP, just trying to hit the ball where it's pitched is, I think, my biggest thing. But, looking for off speed, a good hitter can hit off speed. So I got to try to adjust my off speed as much as possible, and then just, hit the ball where it's pitched, I think, is my biggest thing.
When you're at the plate, being a catcher, it's almost like you're the cheat code in the box, right? Because the way that pitchers are attacking you, in some ways you can kind of dissect that and think, okay, well, I'm behind in the count 0-2. I looked really foolish on a fastball high. I chased a curveball that I probably shouldn't have chased. You kind of already thinking a couple steps ahead, maybe, of the pitcher and also the catcher too. Have you done that at all when you've been at the plate?
Oh, 100%. I try to think like a pitcher, think like a catcher when I'm up there. What would I be calling right here? 1, 2, 3 hitter. What am I gonna do? See what see what he's thinking, trying to get on the same pathway as him. Just try to dial in with him and see what he's trying to throw, and just try to, as possible, or sit fastball, adjust to the curve.
Is there any pitch in particular that you're struggling with early on? I know for younger hitters, sometimes it could be picking up the spin of the breaking ball. For a lot of hitters, I feel like it's the changeup because that's a pitch that I believe, especially now with the way technology is and how everybody loves spin rate, and everybody likes to show off how nasty their curveball is, but nobody wants to talk about the changeup. It's a pitch you don't see that much. So when you see a good one, it's like, oh, okay, it's going to take a little bit longer to adjust. Is that the pitch, the changeup, the one that you have trouble with?
It is, yeah. Definitely is the harder pitch to hit, and you don't see a very good one very often, but you're working with a very good pitcher when he has a changeup he can locate, very good. And I try to utilize it as much as possible when I'm either calling the game or just we got a pitcher who can throw a good one. I think it's just to get your timing all screwed up. I think it's one of the best pitches in baseball. The hardest ones to hit for sure.
I mean, think about the kid for the Brewers. I think Williams is the last name. He's got, I mean, a disgusting changeup, and I just wish that pitch was utilized more in the game than, oh, let me try to throw a nasty slider, the curveball, at least early on. You know what I mean?
100%, yeah. I think it's I think once you're through your first round of batters, it's almost a good pitch to start them off with. Get their balance all thrown up, then they're thinking as much as possible, and you got to come back with whatever you think is best, and it's a nasty pitch.
Now, as you start to make progressions, right, in your catching, career early on, and you're still young, you're only a sophomore, the future is very bright for you. At what stage, I mean, when I think of catching and far as development, right, I think of blocking, receiving, reading hitters, the tunneling aspect as far as seeing the pitch of, okay, is my pitcher being able to show fastball out of his hand and then give the illusion like it's a fastball late and then it dart and could be a slider, could be a changeup, could be whatever. Is that something where you feel like you're in your development catching wise, or is it still a little bit too early for that?
No, I think it's definitely in development. We were working on it in bullpens today. I'm trying to listen as much as the pitching coaches are saying while trying to work on my stuff too, receiving, blocking, and all that fun stuff. And just trying to recognize the pitch or pitch out of the pitcher's hand, definitely a big thing where, you know, you want your breaking stuff to look like a fastball out of the hands. And I think that's definitely a very big thing that's definitely working on a lot. Yeah.
As the season has gone on, I think you guys are 3-4, correct?
We are, yeah.
So with that being, it's been a struggle, but again, like you were telling me, catching position, you sophomore, pitchers very young, right? A lot of sophomores, etc. Second and short, sophomores, center field, sophomores. So that tells me two things. One, future's bright. Two, there's going to be a lot of growing pains. There's going to be some highs, there's going to be some lows. And I feel like in the games that Howie and I have talked about of late, it's been one inning, you guys look like fantastic. The next, kicking the ball around, maybe losing the strike zone, maybe the at bats are a little bit too quick, not as crisp. That's where the lows are. As a team, and you're probably looked at, if not already, as one of like those leaders, especially being the catcher. How tough is it to kind of go through those growing pains, but know like if we stick to the plan, we're going to have a very, very bright next 2 years, or maybe even second half of this season. But how tough has it been early on?
It can be frustrating, but you got to think of the bright side of everything. We boot a ball, get the next one. It's not the end of the world. Give up a run here, you go back and hit and get another, get two more. It's tough, but just keep working on the small details. It's gonna come. We're a really young team. Sometimes we have five sophomores, almost six on the field at sometimes, and it's like someone pitching or whatever. Guy will go play third, and just growing up with all these kids, I think we're going to have a very bright future, and we're going to be a good program, and hopefully be a powerhouse in the next year or two.
Now, which one do you find more enjoyable, hitting a home run or throwing somebody out?
Oh man, I think I hit my first home run the other day, so probably hitting a home run, but there's nothing more satisfying than having a perfect throw down to second.
Something tells me that that first, which I'm surprised that was your first home run. I'm shocked by that. But something tells me that will not be your last. I will put money on that. That will not be your last home run.
Yeah, we've been working on stuff and hitting, and they come as a surprise, and just ball travels when it's hit square, and it was exciting.
Now, to go back to the catching position, right? Now, you talked about calling games. Are you the one calling the game or is the pitching coach calling the game?
So as of right now, with our senior pitchers, we have our two or three starting pitchers. Um, they've been throwing for 2 or 3 years on the varsity level now, and so me and the pitcher are working together to call the games. But whenever we're in a tough spot or I need a pitch to call, I look over a pitching coach and he'll give me a sign, or Coach Deach will we have indicators and stuff to tell me help me out a little bit, because sometimes calling pitches is tough, especially with a good hitter up and you used everything in your back pocket and you trying to dig for more. It's tough, but yeah, as of right now, I'm calling most of the stuff.
That's good. I think to for the staff, for Deech, and for the pitching coach to have confidence, right? Because I feel like not every sophomore is given basically the keys to the car. Like, hey, here's an opportunity to call a game. Good luck. Like, I feel like knowing Howie, if he trusts you, then he'll let you go. And I feel like he trusts you enough and he sees the baseball intellect in with you to be able to call the game. Does that kind of give you a little bit extra confidence, even if, let's say, you're having a tough day at the plate, right? Or maybe catching is just not like, prime example, the previous game where it was high scoring game. It probably felt like nothing was going right as far as what you were calling. Do you feel like that, even though that was a tough game for everybody, that the fact that the staff trusts you, that it kind of keeps you going forward? Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Just having, our coaches trust me and me trusting the coaches. It's a big key aspect in it that we're all tight knit, that then they can help other stuff, help our pitchers out, help our middle infielders, whatever we're doing, just work on the smaller stuff and let me try to hone in on that type of stuff. And it definitely helps a lot, yeah. Having the trust in one another and it's a big thing, yeah.
Why I really appreciate you coming on. A lot of fun being able to talk with you. Before I let you go, really quick, uh, as far as going to a game, either in the car, in the bus, whatever, you're listening to music. What kind of music is in the Zahner Spotify? If you have Spotify,
Oh man, I'm a big country fan. Big country fan.
I'm not shocked.
All my friends rag on me for it, but I gotta stick with what I like. It's stuff that gets me locked in, and I just love it, and always have loved it, and always will love it.
So is Kane Brown on there?
Ooh, every few songs.
Okay, if you better not be lying to me. I'll ask how.
No.
I'll ask him. So I've got a nickname. I don't know if anybody's got a nickname for you, especially now here in the country part. Big country. That
I,
cool?
I've heard, yeah, I've heard that before. It's been thrown around a little bit.
Especially if you start hitting some tanks, I think big country could be a thing that could stay with you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yep.
But hey, I really appreciate you coming on. A lot of fun being able to talk with you. Best of luck as far as the rest of this season, and hopefully I'll be seeing Tolland in the CIEC playoff. Have a strong second half.
Thank you very much. Honored to be on here.
Always. That'll wrap things up here on the CT Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm your journey find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.